Welcome to this help video to help you create your mood board for your RM controlled assessment task. So the objective of this video is to help you understand how to gather images that are going to inspire some creative and original design ideas later on in the design phase of the project. And hopefully you'll remember from the overview video that the idea behind criterion 1 is that you get enough information in order to create your inspirational design ideas, your original design ideas, and your innovative design ideas. So the mood board is a really important tool in order to help you do that later on. Okay, so the mood board should be packed with inspiring images. Okay, now you're going to have to design a range of ideas later on the project. In order to do that, you need some inspirational images. Okay, so pack the page out with images that you find inspiring. Okay, I want you to explore color, texture, form, and material. Okay, get a range of things that you think are interesting to help you design later on. And your mood board must have a dynamic layout. It must look interesting. You're a design student, so everything you do needs to be considered from a design perspective. Okay, and then quite importantly, you need to get a mood board that contains images that the target market will associate with in some degree. Okay, so you may have already created a target market questionnaire or kind of focus group, and from that might give you some direction as to where your mood board should go. Okay, if not, then use your best guess at this stage. Okay, some examples of mood boards. You can see there's 3 different types of mood boards here. Quite dynamic in their layout, lots of color, lots of shape, lots of texture, quite dynamic layouts. There's a range of different sizes of images on the page. For example, this one here, some nice overlaying effects. Some sketches, that's not necessary at this stage here, but some photos and some overlaying of different bits and pieces, so they're quite interesting to look at. Okay, now the mood board, as we know, should contain lots and lots of images. Okay, I would, one of the first things there says that you can of course get inspiration from other similar products. I would avoid just filling out your page with other similar products though. So if you're designing a coffee table, avoid just filling the page with other coffee tables, because all that's going to lead to later on is you designing a coffee table similar to what already exists. So with your mood board, you need to be a little bit more creative in the way that you approach your task. Okay, so you're able to come up with something a little bit more a little different to what exists already. So do include some other similar products if you find that helpful, but don't pack it out with similar products. Okay, you might want to look into what other product designers are doing, what innovative products they've created. You might like to look at what design movements have come in the past that are successful that you like the look of, or work of famous designers. You might look for inspiration from nature, or inspiration from architecture is a common theme for designers to use. Or you might look at products that have been manufactured from recycled materials. Okay, that can give you some quite nice inspiration as to how to use existing materials already available to you. Now, ladies, this is not a definitive list, but it's a starting point. Okay, so some of these might be useful to you, some of them might not be, but I want to encourage you to kind of approach this in your own way. You know, the mood board is quite a good criterion 1 task to do. It doesn't require too much analysis to begin with. All you're doing is collecting images that you find interesting. Okay, so what I've done, I'll just hover over the bottom. You can see I've done a little bit of searching on the internet already, and I'm going to talk you through some of those in just a moment. But before I start, I just want to show you one image. Okay, this image is a microscopic image of a structure from nature, and this image was used to inspire 3 different product designs. Okay, you can see how part of the structure was used to create the kind of the support structure for the chair, the bracelet, and the support structure for the shelving unit. So that one image inspired those 3 products there. So you can see how when you first start off, you think, how am I going to make a chair out of this? And you can see quite easily how someone has done that, and that looks really creative and really innovative. Okay, so I'm not going to dwell on this for too long, but you can see that I just typed in here natural structures, and you can see there's some really creative ideas, really creative images, really interesting images that I might include on a mood board if I was looking into a project like this. There's even some products that have been manufactured there. Okay, that's a really interesting image that I might include. I might use just part of this image maybe, or the whole section here to help inspire a leg section for a chair, for example. I'll let you look through these on your own, but you can see again there's the shelving unit we just looked at. Microorganisms has been used quite successfully by students in the past. Again, you might like to look at this entire image, this entire section, or just a small part of the image to help inspire your designs. Here are some examples of products that have been inspired by nature. There's some quite literal, so a bed with 4 trees, and some that are slightly more lateral in their thinking. Very elegant, very intelligent design work going on here. Kind of really well developed and inspired by nature products. Okay, so they might be interesting for you to look at and add to your mood board. Now, again, you can think laterally in the way that you approach your project. If you're designing a table or a chair, you obviously need to create something that's going to hold some weight. So you could look at how bridges are manufactured or made. You could look at how they support the weight of vehicles and personnel going across them, and that might inspire something slightly different in the way that you approach your project. Famous architects. Zaha Hadid is a kind of world-renowned female architect that comes up with some simply beautiful architectural design work. Okay, now these kind of images might inspire again some really creative design work on your behalf. I've always found in my own personal design work as well that conceptual architecture is a good one to look at, because you're not constrained by what will actually work. These are design exercises that have been created by people who are just trying to get ideas down on paper. So some of those might be quite inspirational for you. Now, if your design brief requires it, or your personal approach to your project requires it, then you can look into previous design movements. Distill is quite a popular one for our students to use, and you can see how the Distill influence has been used to create many different products, and you will notice them from our workshop as well. So you can look into those. You can look into Bauhaus, Art Nouveau, Art Deco. You can choose a design movement that you think your target audience would be interested in. Here we go, we've got innovative product design. So you can look at how other designers are designing their products in an innovative way. So here we go, we've got a lovely chair here, some real simple choices of colour, really quite striking. Often the most beautiful products are those that look relatively simple and relatively elegant. Okay. If you're designing a coffee table, you might want to type into Google Images innovative coffee table designs to give you something a bit more special. And you can look at some of these and get some inspiration from products that have been created by particularly creative designers. Okay, rather than just settling for something with 4 legs. Okay, here's an example of products that have been made from car parts. Okay, now this is obviously a recycling type of project where you can get a car part and then make a table out of it. But there are lots of other ways that you can use materials, kind of second-hand materials, in order to create products. So if you're interested in sustainability or using recycled materials, then you might want to type in these kind of things into the search engine and see what you come up with. Okay, so then I hope that was useful to you. Just to recap, simply avoid filling up the page with images that won't help develop your design. When you're selecting an image, you have to be thinking to yourself, how will this help me later on? If you can't answer that question, then the image shouldn't be on your mood board. Don't use poor quality images or images where important details are too small to use. You want to be able to see the image in as much detail as possible. Okay, because this is a controlled assessment, you need to be able to communicate to the examiner. So include a short introduction to explain your design thinking, and highlight important areas or features of the mood board using coloured circles or squares, just so the examiner can see really quickly when he looks at your page where the most important images are. Okay. Now, ladies, the overriding job of an inspiration mood board is to help you come up with a range of innovative and creative design ideas. So when you look at your mood board when it's finished, if it doesn't spark off some creativity, then you probably haven't quite got the images that you're going to need in order to develop some designs and criteria into. If you think an image will help, include it on your mood board. If not, it shouldn't be there. Okay. Some more examples of mood boards for you. These aren't particularly dynamic in the way they've been laid out. All the images are the same kind of size. Looks fairly boring, but the images themselves are quite striking. And here's another one as well, using architecture to help Okay, ladies, good luck. The mood board shouldn't really take you any longer than an hour or so to complete. So I'd recommend you kind of get your heads down and really go for it. Good luck.